I promise you this will be one of the easiest airdrops to qualify for, and you can potentially make like $3,000 net on a project that actually is quite good. It's called LayerZero and it's one of the most anticipated projects. Here are the steps that I'm undertaking in order to potentially qualify for this airdrop. If you don't know what LayerZero is, definitely I encourage you to learn more about it, because this is one of the most important projects in my opinion in all of crypto. In simple terms, what they do is basically allow for assets between different chains to be transferred. So for example, send Ethereum from the Ethereum mainnet to Optimism or to Arbitrum or to Binance Smart Chain. And this is just the beginning. You can pretty much take loans on one chain and then pay it out on the other, or use the funds on the other chain. There are all kinds of capabilities that LayerZero will unlock, and potentially they might be doing an airdrop. Full disclosure, this hasn't been announced, but usually when they announce it, it will be too late. And that's why we want to do all of these steps well in advance in order to make sure that if they do an airdrop, we qualify for it. So the very first thing you need to do is to go on Stargate Finance and actually buy some STG tokens. This is the native token for Stargate Finance, and this is pretty much the first project built on LayerZero. You can transfer funds between the networks, which we're going to do in just a bit. You can also use the pools, but the first thing that you need to do is buy your STG. You can do it on a centralized exchange or on a decentralized exchange. It's on the Polygon chain, and once you have it, you can go here and click stake and stake your tokens. There's a lockup period, and the minimum one is 1 month, the maximum one is 35 months. I would advise to go for the minimum. This will allow you for a bit more flexibility if you decide to exit the position, or if let's say the airdrop is finished and you don't want to stake anymore your STG. But definitely you need to do this at least for a month. I personally own STG and I like this for the long term, so I don't really care. And I'm staking it for a month, but I'm planning to restake it at least in the foreseeable future. And once you have done this, once you have it staked, then you can go and vote on different proposals. And if you're on the stake page and if you scroll a little bit down, you can see here vote on snapshot, and you need to do this. There's currently one that it's active, and what I'm gonna do right now is just go here, look what the proposal is about, and just scroll a little bit further down, and I'm gonna cast my vote here. This means you're an active member of the community, and it gives you quite a big likelihood that you're gonna qualify for a potential airdrop. So once you have done this, and keep in mind they have proposals every week or so, so you need to be tracking the page and make sure that you don't miss a vote. It's not of a big deal. As you can see, it takes like 2 minutes to pretty much vote. You can also go on their Discord, they announce the votes there. And once you are doing this constantly for at least several weeks in a row, the next step is to go on the transfer page here and just make sure you transfer as much as possible and as often as possible between different chains using this transfer function. So the first one that you can do obviously is use Ethereum mainnet and then just send USDC or Ethereum to another one, let's say Arbitrum in this case. But then what you can do, and what I definitely advise you to do, is to use layer 2s to do these swaps. And also you can use stable coins, which will minimize your losses if the price of the assets that you want to swap, for example Ethereum, fluctuates, because this is a volatile asset obviously. USDC and USDT are stable coins. Obviously they have their own risks, but I think this is probably the safest way to transfer those funds between different chains. So if I have some assets here on Arbitrum, then if I click here, I can choose on which network I want to transfer the assets to. So for example, I can go to Polygon, which is another layer 2. And let's say I want to transfer $1,000. So once I approve this, I'm not going to do it right now, but pretty much it engages your MetaMask and you know how it goes. I can do it back and forth for different networks. So for example, if I want to go from Matic to Arbitrum again, but I can also use, for example, Optimism this time, or BNB Chain, or Avalanche, or any other of the networks that you can see here. And I think you'll have the maximum chance if you generate volume. My goal here is to generate at least $10,000 of volume. This was one of the mid-tier conditions for Arbitrum, and I think LayerZero might have also something like this. So if you're planning to just transfer 100 USDC once, I don't really think that you have high chances to qualify for this airdrop. You need to make this consistent practice and pretty much every day transfer some funds, and not exactly the same amount, between all of these chains that are shown here. And what you can do, for example, once you transfer 1,000, then you can transfer 100 on this day, and then 500 on the other day. Generate real activity. And one thing that you need to remember is that you're gonna need some gas for these transactions. And although on Matic and Arbitrum, for example, the gas fees are quite low, if you don't have any Matic or any Ethereum on Arbitrum on your MetaMask, you won't be able to transact. But Stargate has a solution for this. So once you're doing the transfer, here from the options, you can click how much gas you want to send to the destination chain. And for layer 2 solutions, you can send just really the minimum amount of gas, just so you have some to transact, but definitely don't forget to do this. These are the main steps that I truly believe will qualify you for this airdrop. However, if you want to go the extra mile, there are a few more things that you can do. For example, you can pool some of your assets in one of the pools here on Stargate, or you can go on Radiant Capital, which pretty much is a great project. And as you can see here, even on their homepage, it's powered by LayerZero. So this is another project on LayerZero, and this offers loans between different blockchains. Currently, they only have Arbitrum and Binance Smart Chain, if I'm not mistaken. And once you launch the app, you can play with it. You can again stake their local tokens. You can provide liquidity and all the goodies that you can do on most of these projects. And if you have some money to spend and obviously time to invest into this, I definitely believe this will give you a bit more advantage over other wallets. And I personally do have some Radiant, just enough to provide some liquidity here and to stake and be able to vote for proposals. But to be honest, I'm also a fan of this project, so I don't mind holding it for a bit longer, because if you decide to stake Radiant, I think the minimum period is like 3 months. So you need to keep this into consideration, that your assets will be tied to a very volatile token here for quite a long period of time. That's everything for this video, guys. If you have any questions, let me know.